Right, guys. So I have been very quiet about the WAFCON. I haven't been ready to get into the WAFCON mood. It should be starting in less than 60 days on the 17th of March. And Morocco, who hosted the men's tournament, should have been hosting WAFCON, the women's tournament, the African Cup of Nations for the ladies. But it looks like they have withdrawn. They've told CAF they don't want to host it. They don't like the way CAF refused to sanction or to take the trophy away from Senegal, probably. So, and they're not happy that they were also penalized for some of their behavior and things, and they're basically going to appeal their punishments. Whereas I think Senegal have accepted that they were at fault for whatever, but they would accept they've got the trophy. Morocco feel aggrieved. Now, the last WAFCON we had in Morocco, I knew we were going to see these problems come up because just a response from the final, the way they behaved towards the referee in the final of Morocco versus Nigeria. I knew we had a problem with the way Morocco were going about it. They felt very entitled. They put up some great facilities. The stadium's amazing. A lot of things went really well, but they felt like we basically every team should go there and let them get away with murder, which ended up making this one of the worst AFCONs I think that we have ever seen in terms of officiating. Because almost every game that we saw Morocco play, the referees were under a lot of pressure to give them the decisions because of the power they wielded. And I said I did not like that they were going to be hosting the next 2 or 3 African tournaments. Because this is what happens, and this is what has happened, and I blame CAF. They are so dumb. They are so dumb. Even me, if I know I'm the only one willing to host at that point, I'm going to be a little bit unreasonable. And they had no choice. We all saw what we saw. I think most of the time, the bad guys usually win. In this case, it was this close that Morocco were going to win that African Nations Cup and they were going to be okay with it. But the Stars basically just said, no, you cannot get away with it because they literally, and which is weird because they were not bad. They were not being favored in such an excessive way that they did not deserve to get to the final, but they had unnecessary decisions go their way, even when they could have won without them. But it looks like they've thrown their dummies out of their mouths and thrown their toys out of the pram, and they are refusing to host the ladies' tournament. And it looks like South Africa are in discussions with CAF. It hasn't been confirmed that South Africa are taking over this tournament. They are in discussions with CAF to host it in lieu instead of Morocco. And honestly, less than a month to go, and we're having these discussions. And that is why CAF were under so much pressure to make Morocco win just to keep them in the good books. But I think we are going to learn. It's such a shame because this infrastructure, honestly, in Morocco was amazing, and it deserves for us to watch the football there. The only thing I didn't like about Morocco was the lack of support for teams that are not Morocco. The stadiums were absolutely empty. The atmosphere of certain games was really poor until they opened up the gates for people to come in for free. Some games, some areas did that, and the games were good. So in terms of support, we are not going to miss you, Morocco, because you don't come out and support anyone else but your own teams. South Africa, are they going to be any better? It's possible. A lot of the Southern African teams are going to be able to afford to fly into South Africa to support their teams. Zambia definitely will be flying in and out. There's so many more people from around the world who are already in South Africa. But they would need to sort out some of their pitches. Remember that pitch Nigeria played on, was it in Bloemfontein? There was a pitch Nigeria played on when they played South Africa, and it was horrendous. It was like a pitch in some shanty compound. It really wasn't fit for purpose. You cannot compare that pitch to any pitch we saw in Morocco. So they would have to do a lot of work in the next month to try and get the facilities a lot better. But I'm hoping that the support would actually be up to scratch in this case. I really hope that they can resolve it with Morocco because only to like repair the relationship. Because at the end of the day, and like it's one of those things, I wouldn't be shocked if they withdrew Morocco from the tournament just to basically prove a point. I think Morocco are petty enough. They are basically really upset with the way everything has gone. But I don't know, guys. What do you think? What do you think what can we do? We cannot do anything about it. We just need to see how it goes. I've got a feeling they're going to persuade South Africa to take over this tournament. But Zambia, please, FAS, Football Association of Zambia, I need to consult with these guys and find out if they've got any plans to improve the infrastructure in Zambia so we can be hosting some of these tournaments in the next 5 to 10 years. We need to be able to at least, even a WAFCON, come on, surely there's like 3, 4 stadiums. With levies there, we can renovate Heroes. Concola Stadium probably is too far and probably too, but there'll be like, but what about Woodland Stadium if it can be renovated to a point where we can have a proper tournament there? I don't know what Sunset Stadium is like at the moment. The area is pretty okay. I remember it from when I was 14. A century or so ago, but I know it's a very small stadium, but that is not necessarily a bad thing. You can have, basically, we should be able to do something. We should be able to start planning in such a way that we can host certain small tournaments. But yeah, definitely something FAS should be thinking about because imagine the revenue. Imagine the tourist attraction. Get a proper stadium in Livingston, guys. We will be minting money. Come on. Oh, and even like, is it Kenya or Tanzania? They are co-hosting in a couple of years the African Nations Cup. Is it next year, actually? Yeah, 2027, 2028. They're co-hosting. So yeah, definitely. We need to get it going. I don't think Egypt is a safe place to go to yet in terms of hosting a tournament like that. But yeah, Southern African countries, I think we are stable enough to get it going. And Football Association of Zambia, personally, I think they should start considering getting, not only going to visit people's countries to play, you need to start thinking in terms of like owning these tournaments, being able, the WAFCON doesn't take as many resources and as much ability and, infrastructure as the men's AFCON tournament. We definitely need to think about it. But yeah, let me know, guys, where is the alternative venue? Are you happy or are you comfortable with South Africa taking it over? Where else can we take it? Because we've got less than about 2 months to go, less than 60 days apparently to go until the tournament starts. A month and a half actually, because it's on the 17th. Yeah. Anyway, the big boys will sort it out, but it needs to happen, right? That was it. AFCON tournament. I really need to get started on previews for this tournament so we can absolutely start getting ready for it. But once we find out where it's going to be hosted, when we get it confirmed, I'll have at least something to motivate me to do the AFCON content. Right, guys, thanks for joining me, and I'll catch up with you very soon. Bye-bye.